everybody, I'm Mama Smoke, this is Fearless Food, and today we're going to make, believe it or not, vegan eel. So this is quite straightforward. Might sound scary, just stay with me. This is Fearless Food, so don't be afraid, we can do this together. The eel is just potatoes, tofu, and some nori, but the sauce to go on top of it, it's a Japanese dish, we're gonna make some teriyaki sauce. So we'll do that first, get that cooking and reducing while we prepare the rest. First thing, we've got 1/3 cup of brown sugar. We're just putting this all into a small pan. Here is 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Then we have 1/8 cup of rice wine vinegar, 1/8 cup of mirin, and a chunk of ginger that I've grated up using a microplane. There's maybe like 2 centimeters worth of ginger there, off a chunk. All right, so this is gonna go in the heat. And I'm just popping it off to the side because we're not gonna worry about this. I'm gonna move on to something else. And that will start bubbling soon. It'll reduce down and it'll make a slightly thick sauce that we'll put on top when we're done. So, this is where it's really easy, but it takes a little bit of elbow grease. What we're gonna do is I want 300 grams of potato that we're gonna microplane really, really fine and then squeeze all the water out of it. And then 250 grams of tofu, firm tofu, that we're gonna do something tricky to make it the right texture for us. So first thing, I'm definitely gonna speed this up because it's boring to watch, but I've got, what is that, a sieve over a bowl. Do it over the sink. I'm just doing it here so you can see it. And just with a microplane, I'm gonna do 2 potatoes, which weigh a little over 300 grams, just so that I get them all nice and fine. If your arm gets tired like mine is, move that out of the way for a sec. And you can just pick it up off the board intermittently. We don't want any liquid in this, so it doesn't matter that liquid's left behind on the breadboard. Switch arms, practice with your non-dominant hand. Don't cut yourself. This is the only exercise I do, so it's fine. Just gonna stop to give this a stir. See, that's all bubbling up. Look at that. We don't want it to overflow, but bubbling is fine. And turn it down a little bit. And back to it. All right, I think that will do us. These potatoes, the total weight of these two I had was about 350 grams. Now what we're gonna do, we'll leave these to drain, but I'm just gonna start getting them going by squeezing them to get as much water out as possible. There's loads in there. And it's really important that we just make this as dry a mix as possible so that we get the texture right. All right, that'll do for now, and then I'll give it another squeeze before we combine it with the tofu. This takes just as much time as the potatoes, but it is totally worth it, and I will show you why. So here we have 250 grams of tofu. Chop this up really fine. So I'm just gonna give this all get it all sliced, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna drag it bit by bit. We're gonna drag a chunk of the tofu across the board with the flat part of this knife, just so that it's like, see how, can you see that up above? So we're gonna drag this across the board under the flat part of your knife. We're gonna do it for the whole amount, of course. What I've done is not perfect. We're gonna do this 3 times. So don't worry about getting every single chunk the first time round. If you tell yourself that it's therapeutic, it becomes therapeutic. going to my happy place. Thinking of yummy eel at the end of this. All right, so that is stage 1. I just want to show you after each time I do this. That's 1 round done, but if I like squish that together, it doesn't stay together. It all starts falling apart. And the whole point of doing it a second and a third time, it's as though it's releasing gluten. So the second time it will bind together a little bit more, the third time it binds together enough for us to do this and have it make a great result. So round 2, here we go. We're just doing the same thing. Squishing it under the knife. Okay, so that's round 2. And again, if we squish it together, it holds together a little bit better that time around. So we're going to do it one more time and we should be perfect. Here we go. Okay, so that is 3rd round complete. And we'll just scrunch it together one more time. See, look at that. Holds together pretty nicely. So there is a method to the madness. We're going to come back to this potato and just give it another good squeeze. So now a little bit at a time, I'm just going to give this a good squeeze and then add that to the tofu. And then we just want to mix this together. So you've got tofu that holds together nicely and you've got the starchiness from the potato. So it just creates a great consistency. So we just want to evenly combine it. And then we start prepping. I'll clean the board down so it's nice and dry. And then we'll start prepping the actual pieces of eel. We cook them and job done. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'll move this out of the way, we'll get organized and we'll do the final step. All right, here we go. So let the magic happen. We're gonna get some nori sheets. I'm going to cut them into 8s, just because I like them that size. And they're kind of easy to manage in the pan when they're this big. And I've got a stack of a few sheets here. They don't have to be perfect, but I've just cut it in half. And then we're gonna do I'm gonna make this sheet 10 actually. All right, that should do us. Now, what we're gonna do, I need a butter knife and check this out. Okay, so one at a time, we've got there's a smooth side and a rough side. We're gonna have rough side facing up. We're gonna take a small amount of this mix, pop it on, squishing it down, and just jam it on there. This is not about being perfect. Little bits of nori sticking out the side doesn't matter. When you fry it, it actually shrinks a bit, so that'll all disappear underneath. But seeing it or not, it really does not matter. And then take our butter knife, slice down the middle, a few down either side, and that looks like a chunk of whitefish. We just repeat the process. And so I'm just taking little handfuls of mix. You want this to be about, what's that? Like between half a centimetre, like a little over half a centimetre. Just do you, no pressure. Shove some on there, it'll stick. You don't have to do the arm marks with the butter knife either, it just looks great. We're going to cook these. There's our teriyaki. Look, see, that's much thicker. Alrighty, so teriyaki sauce is there ready to go for later. We are going to get a pan on with some oil. When we serve it, we just want to sprinkle it with some white sesame seeds. All right, I'm going to throw one in as a tester. I'm I don't know if you can see that, but the nori starts to shrivel up. Oh, yeah. And then we'll start checking them. So this guy went on first. Oh yeah, leave them for a minute longer there. You just cook them till they're crunchy on the seaweed side, and then we flip them over, and once they're browned on top, we're gonna serve these up. Add a little more oil. Get it all underneath. And I've got this on medium-high heat. They're thin, so they don't need long to cook all the way through. We're just wanting to get them brown on the outside. Oh yeah, he's coming along nicely. I think another minute. Just enough time to pour some champers. Woo! All right, back to work. There we go, so there's one. They're looking good. Oh yeah. These are done. Let's turn that heat off. Getting a bit smoky. All right, now over here, all we're going to do is this yummy, thick teriyaki sauce. Might actually baste it on. Here we go. Oh yeah. And then finally, just a sprinkle of sesame. And there you have vegan eel. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this. If you want more random stuff like vegan eel, you're gonna love it. You can do it, it's fearless food. No fear was involved for the animals, but also hopefully for you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'm gonna go and enjoy this. I'll see you next time. Bye.